accelerating thanks to local decarbonizing energy, to technologies that preserve water and natural resources, to the treatment of new pollutants and hazardous waste. An abundance of tantalizing solutions and untapped local resources that Veolia, without equal, brings to light. Accelerate by building on our strong, innovative capacities and on the commitment of our 218,000 employees to ecological transformation, with the ambition of becoming a global champion of decarbonization, a global champion of depollution, a global champion of resource regeneration.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Veolia deep dive. Thank you for joining us here in Oroszlány today. This is the fourth of a series of events that are destined to give you a better understanding of Veolia's activities in direct alignment with the Green Up strategic plan launched last February. Now, if you have followed us in our journey this year, you'll recall that we spoke decarbonizing energy in the UK. We spoke about hazardous waste and micropollutants in the US. And we spoke about municipal water in France. Well, today's presentations will be dedicated to new solutions for water. Why this topic specifically and why here? Well, I'll leave that explanation to Veolia's Chief Executive Officer, who is going to be taking the stage shortly. Allow me just a few minutes to present today's program. I don't know if we're going to have a slide appearing. Here we have it. Thank you so much to the technical team. So as I was saying, Estelle Brachlianoff will kick off the day with an overview of Veolia's solutions to global environmental and industrial challenges. Then we will take a closer look at the group's business model from a financial perspective, followed by a presentation of Veolia's water offers in its priority markets. And you'll see how Veolia's unique business combination is key and is a key competitive advantage. And finally, we will end with a roundtable discussion on how to foster reindustrialization. Again, welcome. Thank you for joining us, be you here physically in the room or joining us remotely online. Please help me to welcome Veolia's Chief Executive Officer, Estelle Brachlianoff.
Hello everyone and welcome to this wonderful site, and I'm very happy to see you either online or in person here in Oroszlány. And for those of you who wonder why Oroszlány, why here, it's because it's the center of excellence, the worldwide best place to touch and feel on our best technology and the membrane technology in particular. So you have researchers, you have innovators, you have technicians, you have manufacturers. This is the best-in-class site in the world here today. So what best to pick this site than to showcase our innovation capabilities, our adaptability, and our audacity to actually run ecological transformation even further, and to highlight why we have such a great ambition in our water technology business and why we are very confident we will reach this ambition. First things first, why water in the end? Why is water has become the challenge? The challenges today, we talk about it more and more in newspapers and in today's life. And it's not by chance. It's because it's the direct consequence of global warming. The consequence of global warming is too much water or too little water or not at the right time, not of the right quality. And this is exactly what we've seen over the last 2 years in big floodings and big droughts, big fires across the globe. This is exactly what we're talking about here to tackle. So we're talking quantity and how do we secure for our customer access to water, but we're talking quality as well and how to remove pollutants such as the PFAS, but it's all about endocrine disruptors as well, or residues of pesticide or microplastics, you name it. And here we're talking about health and how to protect health, which is, of course, a big, big challenge our customers face and something we can help them with. We're talking as well strategic independence and geopolitics in a way, as well as industries growing. How do we enable industries to grow whilst, securing this access to the resource? Why do I say that? Because you can think of water as we drink water, but actually water flows everywhere in our life, in everything we buy, to the industries, to obviously as well the agriculture. There is water everywhere, and when you have a lack of water, there is potentially something which is blocked and that we are helping unblocking. So in the same way as in the last few years we've been talking about trying to achieve net zero carbon, we should more and more talk about how to achieve net zero water in the way we think about our growing industries. So here we are talking for industries not only about how do we save the planet, but how do we actually operate. This is a license to operate for mining, for gigafactories. This is what we're here to talk about. And that's what Veolia is about, and what Veolia comes in with solutions and how to deploy them even faster. Talk about fast. Let's talk about the size of the market. We estimate the size of the market is a bit more than 200 billion, to 220 billion per year, growing 2 to 3% a year. But we have a unique position and incredible selling points, and that's why we aim at growing 3 times faster than this market. This is 6 to 10% growth per year in our greener plan, as you know, and of course delivering an improvement of our EBITDA and ROCE even in higher percentage than those ones, and Emmanuelle will come back to that in a minute. So this is creating value for the group. So Veolia and water, that's a long story. We were born in how to tackle, water problems 170 years ago. We are the worldwide leader in water, with 2 really very complementary activities. What we call the stronghold, the infrastructure-like activity, which is distribution of water, what we call water operations. And in addition to it, the booster, what's boosting our growth, which is what we're here to talk about today, which is the water technologies and new solution. 4.7 billion already in 2023 and growing fast, as I said. So what is our winning formula which makes me so confident, we will reach, like those type of growth in the next few years, and we are actually already this year. It's a series of USPs, or really what we are pioneering is. I can mention one, which is our combination of various technologies throughout the entire value chain, which helps us to combine those to make a unique solution depending on what the customer's need exactly is. So it's really a tailor-made, unique combination of various technologies with a portfolio which is very, very unique and range from membrane through to evapocrystallization, biological treatment, and you name it. Something important is our track record as well. Customer trust us, and we'll see that in a minute. I guess we're here to talk about growth and resilience at the same time. So how do we ensure both? And our geographical footprint is actually a key element for that. We are really a worldwide business in water technologies and new solutions, almost 40% in North America alone. And we have a very diversified geography, which makes us very resilient to potential crises, but also agile. When opportunities arise, we are jumping to where they are at this single moment in time. And this is really the beauty of our business model here, as well as the duplication. So if I give an example, we've learned how to produce ultra-pure water for microelectronics, starting probably more in Ireland. And then we've exported this series of technology to Southeast Asia, where the microelectronics was building more and more factories. And now in the last 2 years, actually we've exported it again or duplicated it again back in the US, where with the CHIPS Act, we have a booming of new factories happening, and they all need our service, and ultra-pure water in particular. Diversification and availability together with resilience, same applies with our customer base. So 75% of it is industry, 25% is municipal, and within the industrial base, you will see that you have pretty much every type of industry you can think of. And each of the big names you see is really top of the list of, you know, what's best in class reference in their industry. So I'm talking about pharmaceutical, microelectronics, agri-food, gigafactories, new technologies, you name it, they all pretty much are our customer. And they trust us. You see those names. I'm very proud of this list, and it's just a limited one I could fit on one slide. And this is not by chance they trust us. This is thanks in particular to our innovation, which is at the core of our activities and success in water technologies. So we already have more than 4,000 patents existent, but as interestingly, we are the #1 company in Europe in patent registration. So we are not, you know, we're constantly moving to try to get to the next stage, the next frontier, to improve our performance of all our technologies. Every single year it takes. And we're even launching new products, new offers, very, very often. And I can tell you that today we're going to be launching a new one, our brand new PFAS offer, which I'm going to be presenting you in a minute. And Anne will as well, a bit later on, elaborate on 2 other offers that we are launching, which are very, very new. I'm very proud of this constant evolution and innovation which we've kept at the heart of what we do. I said unique comprehensive portfolio of technologies. I won't mention all of them, and you will have plenty of time, you know, including a little bit later, to ask all the questions you have about all those technologies. But just on the slide to say we have a very comprehensive portfolio of technologies, very unique if you look at the competition, as well as an ability to be upstream and downstream of those technologies. Upstream in designing a solution. We exited the construction business, but we're able to combine various technologies to offer on a project basis, specific tailor-made, designated to solve the specificity of one problem for our customer. Down to the operations, where our customer appreciate the fact that we commit on results. We can say, okay, if you want us to operate this plant and to commit on the outcome, the yield or the pollutant removal for the next 10 years, happy to do it. We have a good track record. That gives them very much confidence in everything we do in Veolia. And that's an important selling point of our offer. So this was about what it is today. Let me talk now about what we're aiming at. And you've understood we have a very strong ambition with this business. Starting with what drives the growth. And this is 5 priority offers, which again, Han will elaborate in a minute about. And those 5 priority offers, they are supported by really like mega trends, which are here to stay. And we have ourselves a differentiation, which makes us very uniquely placed and super confident to seize these opportunities. They go from micropollutant removals in water. We're talking here about removing PFAS, endocrine disruptors, residues of pesticides, and so on and so forth, to wastewater treatment plant, which could be more energy efficient or even produce energy and reuse the wastewater, through to the recovering of strategic metals, such as, say, lithiums, going to ultra-pure water for microelectronics and pharma, and finally, you know, like desalination plants, which are much more energy efficient than years ago. Actually, we've divided by 5 the energy consumption. So it gives you an idea of, you know, like the offers which are really boosting our growth in this business. And I've just said are boosting our growth, not are about to boost our growth. So I'm not talking about the future. I'm talking about This is happening now. This is already taking off. I've just put on this slide contract that we've won just since the beginning of this year, 2024, just on those 5 segments. So it's not all the contract we've won, just on those offers. And you see that, we really are already, like very, very much in a winning formula demonstrated by facts. So the momentum is growing fast. This is why, at group level, I have a very good ambition for this booster of activity, which we've presented within the GUENNEC plan. So 4.7 billion now, growing 6 to 10% per year in the next few years in the GUENNEC plan, which is, again, 3 times faster than the rate of the market, 10% EBITDA growth per year on average, and margin expansion, as well as a ROCE increase. And again, you will get the full details by Emmanuelle in a minute. So great ambition, top line and bottom line for this activity. So you had a little bit of a spoiler alert a few minutes ago about our new offers we're going to be officially launched. So beyond PFAS, that's what it's about. And let me show you a video.
PFAS are found everywhere in our environment, and they pose risks for businesses, governments, and communities alike. We're working toward a future where concerns about PFAS management are a thing of the past. Our end-to-end solutions are designed to support you at every step, from cutting-edge detection to responsible disposal of contaminants. We have decades of experience implementing and operating technologies that are scientifically proven and tailored to each project, and we readily adapt to the evolution of our natural landscape, as well as to changes in laws and regulations. At Veolia, we empower cities and businesses to create positive ecological transformation. We are committed to protecting our communities, safeguarding the natural environment, and helping our customers feel confident that what lies beyond today is a safer, cleaner future. What's beyond PFAS? Peace of mind.
So PFAS, which some people call the forever chemicals, they're almost everywhere. In our water, in our soil, and everything, and in our everyday lives. And, the science suggests that some of them can be very harmful to our health. But solutions exist not only to detect them and to measure, but actually to treat them. And this is what the Beyond PFAS offer is about. It is exactly from end to the treating of all types of PFAS you can think of. Of course, I will detail in a minute how we do that. But let me go through the entire value chain in a way. Start with detection and measurement. How much do we have? What type of PFAS? Then through the design of the solution. We're talking here about, if you have PFAS which are very concentrated near an industrial site, or if they are very diluted, if they are in water, if they are in soil, you don't deal with them in exactly the same way. And we have the whole range of technologies, from the relatively minor one to the super expert one, depending on what you need. That's to concentrate them. And then, once you've concentrated them, the pollution, you put basically water on the side, and then you have the pollution concentrated on the other. What do we do with the concentrate? This is where our hazardous waste treatment enters into place to actually treat them. So in a way, it's really like the entire value chain from the, again, value measurement, design of the solution, concentration, and then treating it. And I've highlighted actually 3 different businesses within Veolia, which therefore enters into place, from the water operations traditional stronghold business through to the water tech business for the concentration of it, and then the hazardous waste business at the end of the chain. So an end-to-end solution, and only Veolia can offer that. So it's really a peace of mind for everything to do with PFAS. And I think this is super important because, you know, we have the solution, so I'm constantly saying, you know, what do we wait to actually implement it in the place where it's absolutely needed? This is in a way quintessential what Veolia is about. A problem, various bricks that we've been super good at, combined to offer one solution to a problem. In that case, depollution. That's exactly what our motto is, and that's exactly what Veolia is about. We have a very ambitious target, therefore, in figures, in numbers, €1 billion by the end of the decade in treating PFAS and new pollutants in our various businesses. It is already taking off. Again, that was 0 2 years ago, 50 million last year. We estimate we will end at 200 million by the end of the year and $1 billion by the end of the decade. So you can see we're really talking about the taking off, and the pace of that will depend on the implementation and the rhythm of the implementation of the various legislation in the world, as you would expect. So big ambition here, but very big confidence given our unicity of being able to offer the end-to-end solution with our Beyond PFAS unique offers. So in a nutshell, we are here, we see big challenges, water quantity, water quality for industries and cities alike. We have the solutions with Veolia, and if we don't have them yet, we innovate to constantly find new ways and be more efficient and make them affordable. This is a key element for that. And therefore, very big ambition for this business to grow in the next few years and to grow the value as well associated with it, so top line and bottom line. So in a way, we are reconciling economy, as in how do we help our economies grow and industries to grow and thrive despite the limiting resource of the planet. So reconciling economy and the ecology, if you want, which is really what Veolia does as a champion of ecological transformation. We're talking here as well about scaling up and speeding up and acceleration. I've used words like takeoff. That's exactly what's happening and what we see here, which really are at a very specific moment for this activity. And with Green Up, we are therefore scaling up and speeding up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Estelle. And you said it, your clients trust Veolia. Here is additional proof, concrete proof. Let's listen to a client testimony.
Water is absolutely essential to tech companies today. Water is a key component of how we operate our data centers globally. And at Amazon, we're committed to use our scale to be responsible and help fight climate change. Today, we use 0.18 liters of water per kilowatt hour we consume, and we intend to bring back to the communities where we operate more water than we actually consume. Today, we're only 41% of the way there, and so we still have work to do, and we count on working with Veolia to achieve those objectives. I believe today that owning the technology that you provide puts you in the best place in order to provide the technology and the services and operate it on the behalf of your customers. It is absolutely critical to be able to provide an end-to-end solution so that we can all focus on what we do best. And what Veolia does best is providing us with those solutions for running efficient data centers. So with the evolution of Gen AI today, we use more resources to power those new technologies. Using and creating resources that are sustainable are key to developing the use of those technologies. We cannot have a sustainable future that is digital without investing today in those technologies. And that's why at Amazon and AWS, we want to continue our scale and the partnerships with companies like Veolia to continue to develop those solutions. The expertise of Veolia in energy, waste, and water is absolutely essential to AWS. Together, we're building a more sustainable future.
We now leave the floor to Veolia's Deputy CEO of Finance and Purchasing to give us an overview of the group's four main activities. Please welcome Emmanuelle Menning.
Thank you, Ellie, and good morning, everyone. I am going to talk about our differentiating business model and how we leverage them to drive value creation. Water tech is the key driver for the growth of our strategic plan GreenUp. It amounts for 4.7 billion euros, well spread across geographies and markets, as Estelle has explained to you. With this very balanced business model, we have a business, an activity, which is globally well resistant to macroeconomic conditions and which is 70% recurring. It is managed in four business lines: technology and product, engineering and procurement project, EP project, integrated services, and chemical solution. Respectively, 18%, 30%, 23%, and 28% of our revenues. These four business lines are closely interacting with each other, and they are covering all the value chain. This business is profitable. With an EBITDA of 534 million euros, we have an EBITDA margin of 11.4% and 14% excluding projects. With a capex around 220 million euros, we allocate 50% of it to growth. We have a high cash generation and high level of ROCE. I will now describe to you these four business models, and I will start with technology and product. It amounts for 0.9 billion euros with a high EBITDA margin between 15% and 20%. We offer our clients a large portfolio of cutting-edge and differentiating technology, which are covering 100% of their needs. It can be a techno element, it can be a package system that we are delivering directly by us or via a distributor to them. With the one-off sale of one technology, we are generating additional revenue and recurring revenues, thanks to renewal or thanks to after-sale services. We have been able to enlarge and enhance the portfolio of technologies. First, thanks to the successful merger with Suez, we had fully complementary portfolio with the same strategy, high-end and differentiating. And second, thanks to our leadership position in R&D with 4,400 patents that we are enlarging and enriching year after year. Boosted by our 5 priorities offers as reuse and metal recovery, we will grow for the next 4 years, high single digit, boosted also by the investment that we are doing in our plants, so plant extension, that you will be able to see this afternoon. I will now come to our second business model, engineering and procurement EP project. It amounts for 1.4 billion euros, so 30% of our total revenue. We deliver engineering and procurement for a full water treatment process. And we leverage on our own product, whose margin is reported in the first business line. We have de-risked this activity 5 to 6 years ago with the discontinuation of the construction business. Project, for us, it's an entrance door. To be able to sell our product, our solution, our technologies, and to fuel the asset base of the third business line services. With a backlog of 2 years, we had the outstanding start of 2024. Project booking were 2.8 billion at the end of June. Boosted by the need of our industrial clients and municipal client, we expect this business to grow, boosted in ultra-pure water, reuse or desalination, for instance, with a high cash conversion. I will go now to the third business line. After product, after project, we are coming to services. Services, it's 1.1 billion euro, so 23% of our total revenue, with a high margin between 15 and 20%. For 60% of the perimeter, we deliver after-sale services and asset care, leveraging on our high digital capabilities. It is CapEx light, hence high cash generation and high ROCE. For 40%, we are delivering to our industrial client or municipal client mobile unit when they are facing emergencies or peak of production that they cannot face by themselves. With this high-quality equipment, we have a utilization rate of 90%. Boosted by the emergencies component, we have pricing power, hence the high margin. Boosted by the 5 priorities offer, we expect this business to grow high single digit for the next 4 years. And I will come now to our fourth business line, chemical. It's 1.3 billion euro, so 28% of our perimeters. We deliver our clients with chemical solution and monitoring business, leveraging on predictive or analytical tools. It's all about services, being able to define and analyze the water matrix, define the formulation, implementing it on site, and then monitoring it to face the variation you always see in an industrial process. We have a long-term relationship with our client. The renewal rate for chemical is higher than the renewal rate that you have globally at Veolia. It's up to 95%. We are fully embedded in the industrial process with the highest level of intimacy, hence really sticky revenue and high renewal rates. And we can differentiate with our specific processes, formulation, and digital monitoring. We have a low CapEx intensity and high ROCE. With this 4 business lines, we have a unique positioning to face the significant increase of demand that we will see for water tech solutions and technologies. We will be able to tackle this demand thanks to our wide range of cutting-edge technologies, our clear prioritization on the 5 growth offers, but also thanks to the cross-selling that we have between our businesses. We benefit, for instance, from an integrated supply chain or an integrated customer network. The commercial base of services and chemicals are very similar. And to summarize what I have just said, with our project, we are selling our product that we are maintaining with our services and chemical, and that we are operating outside the water tech world within water operation with the other business of Veolia, as Jean-François will explain to you. We have a unique positioning. We can differentiate and become the preferred and unique partner of our industrial and municipal client. We have a winning business model which is fully in line with GUENNEC, with the 3 pillars that I will explain to you: growth, performance, and capital allocation. We will drive the value creation with EBITDA margin expansion, robust cash generation, capital efficiency, and ROCE increase coming from the EBITDA margin and the EBITDA increase, as well as the discipline on capital allocation. Let's start with the first one, growth. Our revenue will benefit for the next 4 years for the combination of, first, selectivity. We are prioritizing the 5 priority offers: micropollutant, water reuse, strategic minerals, ultra-pure water, and desalination. It will be completed by client retention, M&A, and cross-selling between our business lines. It allows us to grow for the next 4 years 6 to 10% CAGR. Coming to the second pillar, which is performance. We optimize systematically our cost structure. We have a stellar track record in terms of efficiency delivery. We are targeting for the next 4 years 50 million efficiency as part as our group efficiency plan, leveraging on SG&A optimization, purchasing, process, and production. It will be completed by the high level of synergies coming from the successful merger with Suez. It's 50 million cost synergy coming on top of the 30 synergy we have just already been able to generate at the end of 2023. So WaterTech, it's 10% of Veolia, but it's 50% of our synergies. It doesn't take into account the top-line revenue synergy, which are already fueling the 6 to 10% CAGR I have already mentioned. So with this combination of business and with this exceptional track record in terms of operational efficiency, we'll be able to deliver 10% CAGR growth for our EBITDA. It will be boosted organically, almost 90%, but also boosted by small M&A that I will mention in a few minutes. We will be able to deliver an EBITDA margin increase of 300 BP, boosted by the EBITDA growth, as well as clear focus on the most profitable segment. Coming to capital allocation, with the CapEx around 250 million per year, we will allocate 50% of it to growth, focusing on mobile fleet units and plan extension, both projects having an IRR above 15%. It will be completed by smart M&A, focusing on new technologies and healthcare, fully in line with our financial criteria, IRR above WACC plus 4, and ROCE above WACC before year 3. To conclude, the winning business model of WaterTech is fueling and comforting the green up trajectory. We'll be able to generate revenue growth, 6 to 10% CAGR, EBITDA growth, 10% CAGR, to ROCE increase and capital efficiency to drive the value creation and be able to grow 3 times faster than the market.
Thank you. Thank you, Emmanuelle, for this presentation, both detailed and very bite-sized and understandable. Appreciate that. We're now going to focus specifically on Veolia's priority markets. I'm going to leave the floor to Anne-Le Guenec, Senior Executive Vice President of Worldwide Water Technologies.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really glad to welcome you in Oroszlány, being on site or online, and to have this opportunity to share with you my conviction that we do have all the technologies that we need to face the challenges brought by climate change. We spent some years working on the trajectory to manage carbon by 2050. But when we talk about water, we're talking about concerns that our customers have now. Half of the water worldwide in developed countries is used by the citizens, the municipalities, the other half by the industry, which means that we have equal concerns when it comes to addressing the challenges. When we ask the citizens worldwide about their concern about water, the answer that they give to us is not that we need to protect the planet for the years or decades to come. They're concerned about their health. everywhere around the world. When we talk to our industrial customers, their concern is about their ability to produce. I don't have in mind any industry that does not need water to produce or work. We talked about data center. Do you know that a data center consumes more than 6 Olympic swimming pools a day? Every industry needs water. So, of course, when we look at water scarcity, we do have challenges, and we do need to solve the needs for our customers for quantities. Prevention is a must. We talk a lot and we work intensively on non-revenue water, of course, using smart solutions. But this is also what we do in our project business line, providing our customers with the appropriate design and engineering, so all our plants are all optimized in terms of water consumed. When prevention is not enough, we do have one of our priority offer, and this is water reuse. As you probably understand, water is definitely too scarce to be used only once. So water reuse is a must, and this is a market that we see booming everywhere around the world. We see it booming thanks to the regulation, but again, not only. Industrials hardly need water, and only 11% of the water is recycled today around the world. We do have all the technologies to do that, because what it takes is enhancement of our wastewater treatment plants so we can reuse the water to any usage, being for irrigation, being for street cleaning, being for indirect drinking water reuse or direct drinking water reuse. We can even go to an extent where the water, the wastewater, will be treated to be used as ultra-pure water. All the technologies are mature and available. So what do we do on top of providing customers with technology? We care for the energy consumed, because decarbonization is still a must. We do care about the energy because that would be a barrier to developing reuse around the world. It would be a barrier in terms of energy availability, would be a barrier in terms of cost. So I'm very proud that today the one who will do the tour will have an idea of the fourth extension of this plant that we're building, because it will be dedicated to the mass manufacturing of our sealing membrane that we will be using for quite an innovative process. Usually membranes are used to filter water, but we've made an innovation where we nurture bacteria on the media, on the membranes, and just push the little quantity of air that they need to grow so they can eat all the organic pollution of the water. Thanks to this offer, we are enhancing by 75% the performance of our wastewater treatment plants without additional civil works, and we decrease the energy consumption by half. We can push it to an extent where our wastewater treatment plants are positive in energy. This is the case, for example, in Cagnes-sur-Mer. And of course, we are very proud of developing that offer everywhere around the world. How can we do that? Digital monitoring, smart membranes, and our digital suite upgrade that allow us in real time to optimize the quantity of water used, the quantity of energy, and the injection of chemicals. Water reuse is very promising, but sometimes, and in some geographies, unfortunately, it's still not enough. And when it's not, well, we have the desalination offer. That's our second priority offer. Desalination started quite a long time ago in the Middle East, and we're leader of this market for a very long time, for decades actually. But nowadays what we see is that it's not only Middle East and deserts that need water and desalination. From Australia to the UK, customers are calling because they they really need water, and sometimes they don't have any other fresh source of water. So there again, technologies are mature and available. Membranes can provide the right level of filtration so we can desalinate water. But we needed to face 3 main challenges, so we make sure that desalination is acceptable, affordable, and concrete. The first one, again, on energy. Desalination used to be very consuming, but we managed to decrease that. From thermal technologies that we used in the past to membranes that we're using now with reverse osmosis, we decreased the energy consumption by more than 5. Energy consumption of a desalination plant used to be above 20 kilowatt hours a cubic meter. It's now below 3 in our latest win in ASEAN in Dubai. Below 3, it means that whenever we produce 1 single cubic meter of desalinated water, we consume less than when we drive 20 kilometers in a Tesla. We decrease significantly the energy consumption, so desalination is now affordable, because that's the second challenge. That was the price of desalination. But half of the price is about energy. The other part is about filtration. Thanks to the performance of our membranes, we managed to decrease the price to an extent where now this is an available and affordable technology. The third challenge on desalination is the brine. Because, of course, we're concentrating all the salts and minerals that we take out of the seawater, so we provide our customers with desalinated water. All the salts and minerals can go back to the sea, of course, because this is where they're coming from. But we know, thanks to our membrane technology, how to segregate them. And we can put on the side salts, sodium chloride. We can put on the side nutriments, like phosphorus, and we can really segregate things so we can manage brine efficiently. So as you properly understand, prevention, reuse, and desalination, all the solutions to manage our challenges in terms of water quantities are fine. So let's talk about quality. Quality, and Estelle mentioned it, are a major concern, and our citizens all around the world want to make sure that they will be healthy. There are plenty of micropollutants, and the solutions that we're providing is not only about removing them. It's an end-to-end solution like beyond PFAS that will make sure that we give our customers peace of mind when it comes to micropollutant removal. We talked about PFAS, but let's talk about microplastic. Let's talk about pesticide. Let's talk about all the endocrine disruptors that we have. So plenty of micropollutants, plenty of solution. But everything starts with the analysis. An example for PFAS. The threshold for PFAS that can be accepted in water was around 400 nanograms a liter. The threshold has been decreased to only 100 times lower. And thanks to our high-end technologies, analytical instruments, labs, we do have this opportunity and ability to measure the quantity of micropollutants that we have in water. 4 nanograms, a grain of salt in an Olympic swimming pool. I'm very much on Olympics today. So we do have the solutions for analysis, but of course we do have the technologies for micropollutants removal. And honestly, we usually don't kill a bee with a hammer. Well, we don't kill bees, but we don't kill bees with hammer. And we have adapted solutions for any type of situation with our customers. Would it be a very diluted concentration of pollutants in the water? Well, we can absorb unactivated carbon. We can degrade with ozone and other advanced oxidation. Being a bit more tricky, let's talk about ion exchange resins. And of course, when it becomes really serious, we do have the ultrafiltration and reverse osmosis membranes that are available for any type of filtration. So a lot of technologies available and adapted. So we're not just selling everything to everyone or the same thing to everyone. We're adapting our solution to the exact need of our customers. And of course, on top of that, we do have the solution with hazardous waste to treat the pollution that we concentrate, but Jean-François will talk about it later. Micropollutants removal, this is done, so what's next? Because we are getting to the tiniest impurity in water. So ultra-pure water comes obviously next. And this is really booming market that we are accompanying here. Booming market, pharmaceutical, cosmetics, life science, microelectronic, of course, new facilities are popping up everywhere, and heavy batteries. But power is also consuming quite a lot of ultra-pure water. Electrolyzer for the production of hydrogen, for example. Ultra-pure water, of course, we are getting to the tiniest impurity, and our customers do need high standards of quality when it comes to ultra-pure water. 1 single minute of shutdown in a pharmaceutical industry will cost our customers 16,000 euros. Yeah, it's 1 million euros per hour of shutdown. So you can imagine how reliable, how excellent we need to be when it comes to accompanying that kind of cutting-edge technology and that type of customers. So, of course, there again, technologies are available. Membranes will ensure the filtration is done at the right level, so there's nothing anymore in the water. And Ish will elaborate about our micro-E market later on. But the important point is about reliability. And this is where, again, our digital suite ability to monitor in real time and analyze properly will play a role. The market of microelectronic is booming everywhere, and this ultra-pure water is absolutely required. So we do think, we do see this offer as being a game changer. So you'll tell me, Anne, we've removed everything from water. Even the tiniest impurity has gone, so what's next? Well, we at Veolia, we do consider that not only water is scarce, every resource can be limited at one moment in time. So all those salts, nutriments, precious metals, and minerals that we're removing from water shall not be wasted. When it comes to brine, I told you after desalination, of course, we can still use some fertilizers. But when we work for the mining industry, lithium or gold, of course, any gram of those precious minerals and metals are good to recover. This is what we do, of course, for lithium, and Mauro will emphasize our works in Latin America for lithium. But gold is now looking really, really great around the world. And we can provide all the solutions, including in our mobile unit. So we can really provide our customers with end-to-end solution. Is it a cherry in the pie to recover a little bit of lithium or gold whenever you treat water? We do think and we do see our customers looking at this as a really differentiating factor. And we see this market of recovery really booming everywhere. So those are our 5 priority offers: reuse, desalination, micropollutants, ultra-pure water, and recovery. I would love to tell you what's next and have and I have time to tell you about the emerging technologies that we're accompanying, like carbon captures, booming around the world too. But I prefer to leave the floor for the other part of the presentation, and obviously for the corners and tour that I trust you will enjoy. I guess you anyway got my point. We do have all the technologies required to face all the existing and emerging challenges of our customers, and we put innovation at the core of our business model, so we make sure that we continue to invent the solution for tomorrow and to create value for our customers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I listened to that as if I was listening to a fascinating story. It was wonderful. I now would like to invite Jean-François Nogrette, Senior Vice President France and Special Waste Europe, on stage to detail for us how the strength of the group, you'll see, lies in the combination of all its businesses.
Good morning, everyone. So Veolia has always combined its activities simply because it creates more impact, growth, even in established countries like market we have in France. And you know some of the combination. For instance, we were among the first company to launch waste-to-energy solutions in the past. You know, we are producing local energy for local community using their local waste as a fuel. It's currently the standard, it's all over the world, and it's a true successful combination between waste and energy. Another example you may know is about technology, water and waste. When we treat municipal water, we produce sludge, biological sludge that have a value for agriculture, a value as organic fertilizer. When we mix the sludge coming from the water activity together with the green waste coming from the waste activity, we are producing a fantastic organic fertilizer. And in France, currently, where Veolia is by far #1 in the organic fertilizer sector, thanks to this combination. I want to focus now on how we combine our technologies, water technologies, with local operation to tackle key challenges. The one is bioenergy production, we need for decarbonization, protection of health, how to protect from micropollutants, and the management of critical metals that we need for electrification. My first example is EcoFactory. Traditionally, a wastewater plant has a single purpose: treat the water before discharge the water into the environment. Now, Veolia and the technology of Veolia is changing the rules of the game. We are on the point to turn every single wastewater plant into a resource center, meaning, and it was mentioned, we produce organic fertilizer, we produce reused water for agriculture, for industry, or even for drinking water. And I want to emphasize on bioenergy. I mentioned that wastewater plant, we produce biosludge. So we extract the pollution, turning into a sludge. And this sludge, we can digest it, and the digestion produce biogas. Thanks to the technology of Veolia, we have the capability to extract and purify selectively biomethane. So this methane is suitable, is good enough to be directly injected into the natural gas network. Thanks to that, wastewater plants are becoming more and more energy positive, meaning they are consuming less energy than they can produce. It's the case, and Anne mentioned Cannes-sur-Mer in France, but it's the case here in Budapest, in Hungary, it's the case in Latin America. And when US EPA estimates the consumption of water cycle for municipality, it sounds like it's between 30 to 40% of electricity consumption for a municipality in US is linked to water. So this just a massive potential of combination between energy, technology water, and water operation. Another example, micropollutant. It's a key challenge, and it was expressed by Anne, by Estelle, for the health for population. So Estelle just launched today the Beyond PFAS offer. What is behind? In 2 words. First, innovation. We are able, thanks to the water technology, to extract the PFAS that are diluted into the water. Drinking water, wastewater, whatever. We have now the capability to do so. At the same time, we developed and patented the way to totally destroy these PFAS when they are concentrated in a hazardous waste kiln, high temperature incinerators. The mixing, the combination of both is producing the end-to-end offer this is Beyond PFAS. We are the only company in the world, thanks to combination, to provide such an offer. A last example, hydrometallurgy. You mentioned, Anne, nickel, lithium, and other strategic metals that are key for electrification. When I was at Veolia Water Technology, the team were already working on lithium extraction and purification for the mining industry. Now it's growing more and more. So now we have the capability to extract different metals in a sludge or in different liquids, and we are using it for hazardous waste to recycle element per element, nickel, cobalt, lithium, that we can find in electrical vehicle batteries. So I'm very proud to announce to you that we are producing our first tons of nickel, of cobalt, of lithium, coming from the recycling, thanks to the technology of Veolia Water Technology, resin, evaporation, membrane. Now it's France, it's a reality, and we will announce soon the opening of this new plant. We will be among the first in Europe to open such a plant, thanks to hydrometallurgy. So it's a combination of water technology and hazardous waste again. Just to show you how powerful is the capability of combination. So soon Veolia will be able to face this booming market of recycling electrical vehicle batteries in US, in Europe, and in China. As a conclusion, I would like to leave 2 words. First, we are able to deploy our technology worldwide. Veolia has a wonderful network, a go-to-market network. So we are able to deploy this technology where we operate locally, where we are deeply rooted into the territories. And the combination of both will bring more impact, more value to the local communities, to the municipalities, to the industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jean-François. I felt the pride in that presentation, and you're right, there's much to be proud about. We are now setting up for our roundtable discussion. This discussion is going to focus on reindustrialization. What we are hoping to show you is how Veolia's water technologies support these efforts in numerous industries, and how also the global push for reindustrialization makes this one of the group's main growth engines. Right, we're all set up. Please welcome our speakers, Glenn Vicevic, Mauro Cruz, and Ish Hakima. Welcome to you all. Glenn, did I pronounce your surname correctly?
You did a great job.
I did? You're sure? You're not just saying that to make me happy?
No comment.
Okay. I thought so as well. Would you like to say it correctly so everyone knows?
Vicevic.
Right. You see? Now we all know. Thank you so much. I'd like to address you the first question. You are Technologies and Product Director for Veolia Water Technologies. I'd like you to give us some context on the global reindustrialization initiatives, and then, of course, help us understand how water tech supports this, please.
Thanks, Ellie. So one of the least considered challenges of the reindustrialization initiative is the availability of sufficient infrastructure and resources. And if you're an organization establishing a new factory in a new location, you want to ensure that you can operate sustainably. And it's not just an issue of the footprint, but you have to have resources. For instance, ample clean water to operate your factory. And earlier this week, Water Europe released a new extensive report where they outlined the criticality of water as a resource to drive the engine of reindustrialization. And the good news is that Veolia Water Tech has a suite of technologies that can help assist customers with this challenge. We'll start off with membranes. And when you want to operate a factory or a new investment in a water-scarce or a water-stressed region, the ability to recycle water and reduce the impact is very important. So our membrane technologies can enable this. Not every industry judges the quality of water the same way, and there are more demanding needs. For instance, our electrodeionization technology can produce water for ultra-pure water for the very demanding microelectronics industry. Every company wants to make sure that when they're discharging water and wastewater through their treatment process, that they're meeting all the local regulatory environment. And our wastewater treatment technologies provide peace of mind to our customers because we can ensure that they need that. But we go a step further. We look at the resources that are in those wastes, and is there a way that we can bring them out, recover them, purify them, and reuse them in the factory? And in that situation, what we're doing is we're enabling a circular economy in the factory. And all at the same time, we make sure that we focus all of our operations on sustainability. And I'd like to share with you one example of a project we did, which I think exemplifies what we're talking about. And we worked with a large dairy company in the United States that, due to growing market demand, was going to invest in a large state-of-the-art facility. And I don't know if you're familiar with dairy wastes, but they tend to be high in organics, fats, oils, and greases, and macronutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. And of course, the organization, the company, wanted to make sure that they were going to be able to treat this wastewater and meet all the regulatory criteria. But more than that, they were anticipating future-proofing the facility. So after an extensive research, they decided to go ahead and purchase a membrane bioreactor technology from Veolia. Membrane bioreactor is a combination of biological treatment with membranes, and it provides a very, very clean effluent. And the organization made the decision because they were thinking about the future. And we installed the facility. I believe it's designed for 6,000 cubic meters a day of treated water. Has demonstrated excellent performance, more than 94% removal of organics, 95% removal of ammonia. And sure enough, in the future, the organization decided to look at water reuse opportunities. And because they had selected technology, by the way, the membranes were manufactured here in Oroszlány, good circular story. And the company was able to identify opportunities to reuse the water. So they were able to bolt on a reverse osmosis process on the wastewater treatment plant because of the high quality effluent from the seaweed membranes, and able to take it and desalinate that water, demineralize that water, and then be able to reuse it in their cooling towers. And the net positive of that is they eliminated or reduced their overall water demand, the water consumption, by more than 30%. And I believe that's more than 135,000 cubic meters per year of water being saved. And that's not a drop in the bucket.
Absolutely. That was a very telling example. Thank you so much, Glenn. I'm now going to turn to you, Ish. You are the WaterTech Asia Pacific Director. You're here to share your insights on the semiconductor and microelectronics industry. What are the key challenges and what is Veolia bringing to the table?
Thanks for that, Ellie. So if you think about it, just joining the dots a little bit here, and you've heard some of the words today, yeah? Ultra-pure water, microelectronics. But for us, the need to be smart. So we all have smartphones, we want smart manufacturing, you know, we want our ability to scroll on LinkedIn, to post on LinkedIn and all the social media platforms we have, like Instagram and, of course, good old Facebook. That is driving a lot of the need that we have for the wafers and the chips that we see today. Even this event that is being telecast live for those around the world, that takes a lot of processing power. To get to that processing power, we need more chips. And then you overlay that with the politics that we see today, the geopolitics that we have, plus the policies that are coming. You've got onshoring and you've got the CHIPS Act. This is giving rise to what we call megafabs. Megafabs are popping up all over the world, as mentioned by the speakers before. Now, you may say, what is ultra-pure water got to do with this? Ultra-pure water is seen as a key ingredient by this industry. It washes away all the impurities that allows for the manufacturers to imprint all the data that is required for the speed that we all want for things to work in as we scroll. I mean, that happens quite constantly.
An example, perhaps, of how these solutions are deployed?
Absolutely. It's good to see some familiar faces from Singapore. I'll talk about a customer, Soitec, in Singapore. We deployed our ultra-pure water solution for this customer. We heard about net zero water. This customer was asking us to push that way. We were able to deploy a solution at 95% water recovery, utilizing our RO, reverse osmosis technology that reduces salts and impurities, followed by chemical-free electro-deionization technology that removes trace impurities. All of this solution provides the customer with low cost of construction and lower OPEX. Now, giving you some orders of magnitude. We at Veolia have been providing solutions to this industry for a long time, since the late 1980s, from wastewater to waste recovery like solvents, then moving on to ultra-pure water. We have built ultra-pure water solutions, approximately 350 plants and counting, in over 22 countries. That represents, and I'll follow on from Anne, around Olympics and Olympic swimming pools, 31,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools every hour. In this event alone, we've produced that because of the hour that it's taken.
Thank you so much. And to believe that this story of technological excellence started with Facebook, would you imagine? Thank you, Ish. Mauro, we'll conclude this roundtable with you. You are a Latin America Director for WaterTech, and you've chosen to focus on how Veolia accompanies the mining industry in the region. Tell us more.
Yes, for us to have any kind of reindustrialization, we need access to raw materials, access from a stable and trustful source of raw materials. And Latin America has become more and more producer and exporter of raw materials, and is a very stable geopolitical place. And one of the minerals that Latin America supplies to the world is lithium, as alluded by Anne. Why do we need lithium? Lithium goes into the battery that goes into the electric vehicles. That is fundamental for the electrification of the way we transport ourselves. Without that, there's no chance for us to do the required ecological transformation. Where we'll get all the lithium we need. By the end of this decade, the demand for lithium may double, and in the next 10 years, it may triple or quadruple. Lithium is not a rare product. Lithium is quite abundant, but it's always found in very low concentrations and very hard to extract. But there is one type of place that we can have lithium at high concentrations and easy to extract. These are salars. What is a salar? Salar is underground, very salty water, and one of the salts is lithium carbonate. In South America, where the countries of Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina has a common frontier, there is a place called the Triangle of Lithium, called by the industry, where we have the biggest reserve of lithium in salars in the globe. But we still have a problem to extract lithium for those salars. The way we're extracting lithium right now and in the past is very similar to the way humanity has extracted salt from the sea for our food for thousands of years. We just put that in an evaporation pond and wait. And for lithium extraction, using that called technology, it takes for 1.5 to 2 years to extract lithium. You can extract the maximum of 50%. The rest, half of it, is lost. And there's no water reuse on that. And all the water that evaporates, the winds takes to another place, and that area that is already very dry becomes even more drier. How can we solve that? It's technology. It's DLE, direct lithium extraction, using Veolia's membranes technology, reverse osmosis and nanofiltration, coupled with Veolia evaporation and crystallization. We can reduce the cycle from 1.5 to 2 years to 48 hours to 72 hours. The lithium extraction, 50%, we go up to 90%. And we have 60% water reuse in the process. Very nice for the planet in many aspects.
Absolutely impressive once again. Can you share an example, perhaps?
For sure. I have a great example for you and for you all. Is the Centenario project by the mining company Erame in the south of region in Argentina. The project is being commissioned right now, and when it's reached full capacity next year, it will be producing 25,000 tons of lithium carbonate per year, battery-grade lithium carbonate. And those mining projects are very complex ones. They are multi-year projects, multi-billion euro projects, done in very remote locations. Usually, this one that I mentioned, the Centenario, is done at 4,000 meters above sea level at the Andes Mountains. Health and safety conditions are very, very complex, and a lot of scrutiny from the communities around. And Veolia has a long history, track record of doing mining projects with those companies and taking those very complex and long-term projects to a very successful completion.
A big thank you to all three of you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
In a nutshell, what you've seen this morning, from the global picture to very real example in Chile, in Argentina, in Singapore, in the US, is very clear. The challenges are enormous: quality, quantity. They face everybody, from industries to municipalities across the globe, pretty much. Quantity and quality, as I said, and Veolia has a lot of the solutions already, and a unique positioning, an ability to combine the various businesses, a global footprint, which you're able to duplicate a solution from one part of the globe to another one. A unique set of technologies, a list of customers who already trust us, which is great and very varied. And all that combined makes us very, very uniquely placed to have a very big ambition, and it's already starting now, as I said. Very big ambition to grow. The results, as much as, of course, the top line, the two goes, of course, alongside, and it is starting. So we are today, I really think, at a crossroad of a moment of taking off of these activities across the globe, because global warming is happening. It's happening now. So it's not by chance we're talking and we're having this discussion today as opposed to 5 or 10 years ago, because things are accelerating, so we have to accelerate the solution, and this is exactly what Veolia is doing, and this is exactly what GreenUp is about. Thank you very much.
All right, it's now time for our Q&A session. Would you like to place me there or here? Yeah, I think it's best here. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So we're going to open the floor to your questions, ladies and gentlemen. You know how we work here. You can ask your questions using the Q&A tab if you're online. And of course, if you're with us in the room, just raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone over to you. Yes, we have 3 raised hands already. Can we bring A microphone perhaps for Madam right here. In just a few seconds. Bear with us. We're almost there. We're listening. Thank you.
Thanks very much. It's Jenny Ping from Citi. Just going back to page 20 of your water tech overview, and thank you for giving the split on revenues and EBITDA. I was just wondering, just crudely doing the roughly 6% or 8% growth, middle of the range, you're getting to, what, 6.5 billion? Can you talk a bit about how much of that 6.5 billion revenue is actually secured as we stand today? What is the duration of each of the 4 segments, visibility? And then the other question I had is just in terms of competition. Who are your biggest competitors out there as we stand today? Obviously, Suez combination has taken some of that out, but I just wondered who your biggest competitors are. Thank you.
So we'll start, and maybe Emmanuelle, if you want to complement. On the what's secured, a few things. 70% of the business is recurring. And recurring doesn't mean that it's necessarily long-term contract, but as Emmanuelle said, we have a very high renewal rate. So it's really a regular customers who ask every single year, every single month for the same type of services or offers. The other one is project, and project we think in backlog. And the backlog, we are very happy with, the order book we have that we've published in the first half of the year. So the global answer is we're very confident that we are on the right trajectory to reach this 6 to 10% growth. If you look at the first half of the year, which we've published, we were even above that. So I guess this is already starting and happening. There will never be 100% secure for the 2027 revenue because we have great ambition, and the project one is a recurring, we have a pipeline which is a constant evolving. So I guess the way to think about it, 70% recurring, the rest is more based on backlog, and we have a very good backlog and a very good signature of contract in the first half of the year, of which we've announced a desalination plant in various parts of the world, and so on and so forth. So you can go on back to the press release. You want to comment on that one?
On this one, I fully agree with you. So regarding the growth of our revenue for the next 4 years, 2/3 of it will come from our priorities offer, and the last third will come from a small part of it M&A, and the other one, the organic growth of our other business. We are feeling comfortable for two main reasons. The first one is that we have a very good momentum, as you have been able to see at the beginning of the year. And the second element, if you are looking at all our business line, the whole evolution of EBITDA is showing the increase that we have in product and technology as well as services. Regarding project, as Estelle has mentioned, we had an outstanding start of the year with a backlog of 2 years. And regarding our last business, chemical, we have a real stickiness thanks to our positioning and the highest level of intimacy.
So we don't need, M&A will do it if it creates value. So we have a plan to do some tuck-ins and stuff. But we already have a lot of it within our hands, I guess, without having to do for M&A, if it's the underlying part of your question, Jenny. In terms of the competition, we have it on page 11. So you won't ask me to rename some of our competitors in front of everybody. I will let you read the slide because I really do think we are uniquely placed and the best in class.
Thank you so much. Let's take another question from the room. Right here, sir, and then we'll come to you.
Yes, good morning. Very interesting presentation. Philippe Ourpatian from Odo BHF. 2 questions on my side. One, thanks for all the detail, quantitative one, concerning revenues, EBITDA and so on, margins. Very, very useful and quite very interesting for modeling. But my question is maybe missing something, which is the ROCE. You mentioned higher ROCE. Could you just elaborate about where you see those ROCE for water tech going versus the target you have had on the consolidated base, which were somewhere between 9 and 10, if I'm not wrong? That's the first question. And the second one is more a global question. We saw in the macroeconomy cycles, currently automotive are down, because EV seems to not be as promising as it was. We saw cycle also in the lithium industry. We saw some cycle also in the tech industry. I mean, some warnings, ASML and so on. How could you be so sure that your trajectory you are foreseeing are going to be the one that those industries are also in their mind? Just to reconciliate.
You want to start, Emmanuelle?
Yes, I will start with the ROCE question. As you know, for us, ROCE is really important. You remember what we have been able to do. At the end of last year, our ROCE was 8.4%. In 2 years, we have been able to come back to the level that we had before the merger with Suez, when we have a more capitalistic business. So regarding the ROCE of water tech, it is higher than the average of the group, the 8.4 I have just mentioned. It will be fueled, as we have said, by our revenue growth, boosted by the priority offers, the cross-selling that we have between our business line, as well as the retention rate of our client. We will have a strict discipline in terms of capital efficiency, as well for CapEx, organic growth, and for M&A. We will be able to grow the ROCE that we have from 200 to 300 BP until the end of the plan.
So she gave you figures, and I guess because you like figures, don't you? So I guess what's important is to say, the group is varied. We have activities with our strongholds, and today we're talking about a booster of activity. The booster of activity, is boosting the growth, and in that case, it has less capital employed, hence the ROCE is more than the average of the group, and we aim at increasing it significantly in the next few years. The second part is you have other parts of the group which are very resilient, very infrastructure-like, and you wouldn't expect the same ROCE as well when you're talking about an infrastructure, a network, an essential service. So I guess it's a mixture of activity, very resilient, and growth, and it's really the two which we combine to make the overall ROCE of the group grow in a very short, mid, long-term way. So every single year, not only for 1 year and in a peak. Macroeconomy, I guess, why are we confident? And you're right, there is the booming of this, and then there is the bursting of this, and then there is the booming of that, and so on and so forth. And we've seen that throughout the years. So I guess our recipe for being resilient is actually to be diversified. And that's what we've said on page, I'm trying to find the page back, page 9. Where you see we have municipalities, which is very resilient in terms of macro. And then all the other type of industry, there is not one big industry which is driving a big proportion of our revenue and result. So we are very diversified. And as was explained a little bit earlier on by Anne, lithium has been and was a bit down, but then gold took off, and lithium was more, as Maura said, Chile, Argentina, Bolivia. Gold was more Canada. Good news is we are in both. So if one is doing a little bit less, then there is one which is taking the relay. So I guess the diversity, geography, and type of customers is exactly what is the key answer to your question.
That makes a lot of sense. I hope it answers your question. Let's take one last question from the room, and then I will give some attention to those of you who are following us online. Yes, sir, please go on.
Alexandre Roncier, Bank of America. I've got 3 questions, please. I'm going to try to keep them short. The first one is actually coming back on the revenue. I'll especially like to come back on PFAS, and you mentioned 1 billion by 2030. Can you give us some sense of what's actually engineering and procurement and technology in general? And also a little bit more sense of timing, because I think in the past you mentioned a lot of the PFAS revenue actually coming perhaps towards the end of the greener plan. And we've seen obviously some pushback in the US from regulatory views on that. So how much can that actually, falls out of the green up or not? The second one on margin, you mentioned 300 bips. Can we have a sense as well on the split between price and efficiencies? I think you mentioned, 50 million, within the plan. Is the rest just prices, going up with your clients? Are your clients just not price sensitive? Are you confident about that? Or is that just actually, a better utilization on your manufacturing? I think Anne mentioned that you are on your 4th plant expansion here. do you have another one planned? Are you already at full capacity? That would be interesting. And then the last one is actually one that's circling back and trying to bring back water tech into water operations. I mean, you've shown like a lot of great technology, a lot of efficiencies. How much is water tech actually helping in terms of winning or maintaining contract in water operations? And how much actually does that drive perhaps some outperformance payment in some of your concession contract? Would be an interesting one as well. Thanks.
So 4 questions, if I noted them right. I hope I did right. So PFAS, if I come back on slide 17, where you see the taking off going from where we were 2 years ago, 0 revenue, where we think we will be this year, 200 million, and when we think we'll be by the end of the TEG, 1 billion. So where is the intermediate point, 2027, if it's your question? I don't know, because it depends on the legislation implementation. You're exactly right. So if it were to be implemented quickly in the US, shall I recall that the legislation about water PFAS removed from water dates back from just a few months ago. It's April. It's in a court case and so on and so forth. But we have already all the books. 200 million is not, it's already starting because we have water companies as customers, but we have airbase, air force, airport, industrial site as customers of the PFAS removal and the beyond PFAS offer. So don't count only on this. And I guess the various posts coming from the various type of customer of this offer, I don't know what is the proportion going to take off quicker than the other, because it will depend on the legislation. But I'm very confident. Typically, we already have this 200 million. A lot comes already. A lot, say 60%, something like that, I'm guessing. I should check the numbers, from US and Australia. But not necessarily only water in US and Australia. It comes from militaries who ask us to remove PFAS from the airbase and air force. So I guess, and the rhythm in between will depend on the legislation implementation. So that's the first one. The price efficiency, so the margin improvements come from where, basically, Emmanuelle?
Margin improvement. So to answer your question regarding the margin improvement between 2024 and 2027, 1/3 will come globally, roughly 1/3 will come from efficiency and the high level of synergies that we will able to generate thanks to this successful merger we have mentioned. Working on procurement saving with massification, cost efficiency. We will have more than 1/3, so 40 to 50% which come organically from our growth priorities. And the last 20 to 25% will come from the organic growth of the other segment, as well as the M&A contribution.
And organic growth will be typically the extension of the plant, which is your third question. Sorry,
no,
just trying to make the segue.
You're absolutely right. So you were mentioning the plaques expansion and the capex we are doing in our mobile unit. It will be fueling the organic growth for priority and not priority offer.
So 1/3 from efficiency and synergies, 2/3 from top line and a bit of M&A, but small, roughly, right? Absolutely. Plant expansion, you're right. You know, we had more demand than we were ability to manufacture. Therefore, that's a wonderful situation to be in. But Anne has acted.
So the fourth expansion here on Oroszlány, but we're also expanding a similar facility that we have in the US, Minnesota, and one that we have in China in the north of Shanghai. So yeah, we're running after the demand, and we're choosing our capital allocation wisely as much as we can, because our membranes are not commodities. So we have this luxury, and sometimes Estelle compares us to the French luxury, to really choose our market and make sure that we answer the high standards of our customers in priority.
And so where do we invest, which is not your question, but if I de-zoom a little bit, we invest mainly in things like that, as in organic investment, CapEx, and say mobile units, which again have a very good return, as Emmanuelle highlighted. Are we limited by investment? No, as in, we've prioritized the 3 growth boosters in the investment in GreenUp very clearly. So Anne and the 2 other, like a type of business are priority in the investment in Veolia, in the GreenUp plan, and that's very clear for everybody, I can tell you. In terms of water operations, so how does it help? I guess it goes both ways. And shall I take the example of CEDIF maybe? Yeah, the CEDIF contract, which we've done a bit of a presentation a few months ago on, this great contract, 12 years extension, multi-billion, backlog, and so on and so forth. So this contract has fueled, so we will deliver a reverse osmosis, low pressure reverse osmosis of all the treatment plant for drinking water in the Greater Paris area, which means, by the way, in a few years' time, you won't have any PFAS, any endocrine disruptors, any of the nasty stuff we've discussed at all, just by opening your tap in the Greater Paris area, which I think is unique and great. You wait for us to enhance the plants to be able to deliver that, but that's going to be the case in a few years. That has fueled, so that's a water operation typical, what we call stronghold type of contract, that we've renewed. This has fueled, so it sits with Jean-François' business. It has fueled the backlog of all the technologies to enhance those plants to Anne and the water tech business. And vice versa, if it hadn't been for us being able to differentiate with our technologies, this one and others, maybe we would have been less successful in renew this contract with such, like a good condition, and including being able to make it affordable for the citizens, because I think the affordability is a key one. So I guess that's goes both ways, and that's a very important example. Combination is something very important in Veolia, and it's not just on the edge. It's really it creates a lot of value. So we have to be very good in every single of our 6 activities, the 3 strongholds and the 3 growth boosters. And on top of that, we create, 20-30% of value by combining those. Exactly the example Jean-François gave. So it's the 2. If we were not very good at what we do really, of course we wouldn't be able to do that. But we are the best, and in addition, we produce energy from wastewater. We help water tech to have a backlog business, and vice versa, and so on and so forth. Sorry.
No. Maybe just to say, the more we combine technology with local operation, the more we have a very large base of customers at local operation, and the more we combine, now it will be the case for CEDIF, it will be an install base for water technology. So the plant behind us will need to produce more membrane because of the replacement of the membrane. Okay, so it's recurring business that will come for operation, thanks to the fact it will become an install base of technology.
And the more data we have to fuel our digital suite as well. So, of course, AI and digital suits will be fueled by operation and return on experience.
Thank you so much. Let's take some questions from those of you who are following us online. Question de Xavier Regnard, SMBC. Environ un tiers du CA de WaterTech est concentré sur la chimie, la pétrochimie et ONG. Pouvez-vous commenter la sensibilité au contexte macro?
Alors, un tiers, c'est a third is oil and gas and 28%. No, but not as a sector as in our customer. Où est mon slide sur les customers? 9, you said? Okay, you know my slide better than I do. Oil and gas, 9%. You're right, page 9. Oil and gas, 9%, and petrochemical, 10%. And petrochemical, it goes from very mild, commoditized to super high-end. So I guess oil and gas, 9%. It means we are not dependent on oil and gas, and if oil and gas goes well, or not so well, we have a very resilient customer base. So I think, that goes back to your earlier question. That's why diversifying the portfolio is so important. And that's why we haven't talked specifically about offers to the oil and gas industry. It doesn't mean that we're not happy to give them. But what's boosting the 5 specific priority offers, there is a little bit in the oil and gas, but not much. We're more talking pharma, microelectronics, and basically energy transition with minerals, as well as population and health. So all that are mega trends, and in a way, the mega trends support the fact that whatever happens in one part of the world, in the end, you will always have the population, and that's what Hans said in an introduction, asking for healthy drinking water, asking for, and the reshoring of industries and reindustrialization looks to me like it's here to stay. And the water scarcity is a fact, as in, it's a consequence of global warming, irrespective of the human on the planet, this is happening. So I guess those 3 underlying things are supporting our growth, whatever, happens rest. And the rest is for us to be resilient thanks to our, very diversified portfolio.
We need to keep in mind, Estelle, that under the oil and gas sector, you have all the new and renewable energies, and it did not escape to you that they're all changing names now, rebranding from oil and gas to new energies. And because we are accompanying decarbonization of that kind of industry, we do have a significant part of our contracts being on carbon capture, hydrogen, and renewable energies.
And they count into this category.
Absolutely.
Right?
And regarding the business of chemical, the business model that we have just explained, again, it's all about services. We are doing the analysis, we are defining the formulation, we are implementing it, and then we monitor it. Meaning that we have a very large base of clients. It's very recurring because thanks to us, the process of the client is working. We secure compliance with environmental regulation, the productivity of the asset, as well as the fact that the assets stay and remain sound, for instance, against corrosion. So it's complicated to see next step without the product that we have defined, which is fully embedded in the processes. Meaning that it's not something that you can start and stop. You have a very high cost of conversion.
That's a question I was asked a lot about the various, macro geopolitical tension and so on and so forth. And people were surprised that we were able to actually price increase in the last few years with inflation and so on and so forth. This is not by chance that our results are resilient. Shall I recall that in our Green Up plan we have 2 defining elements. One is when we are somewhere we want to be in the top 3. And that's a key criteria for success. When we play strong, big, unique. That's the case here. Water tech, we're number 1 in everything we do. We're really good at it. If you're number 20, then it may be that, when the market is a little bit less booming, you have difficulties. When you're in the top 3, you have attraction, which I think is super important, including to get price increase and so on and so forth. The second one is diversification of our fund employed in the world, where I said, we want to diversify the fund employed in the world. That's already the case in Veolia, and I want to keep it that way. So I think that's a more general angle to it, which we've, made clear in the Green Up plan, and I want to reinforce today.
Thank you. You've been so detailed in your answers that we're running very quickly out of time for this Q&A. This is not a reproach. It is wonderful. But I would like, if you're in agreement with me, to take some questions from the people who are online. You all will be with us for the rest of the day, so you can continue addressing your questions to the executive team. So if you agree, I'm going to take the rest of the questions from online. Here is a question from Arthur Sidbon of Morgan Stanley. Are you confident with your targets on PFAS growth, even in a hypothetical scenario in which the new US regulation limiting PFAS in water would not get implemented, how much of your growth should come from the US? And that's a double question. It's even a triple question because there's another question behind that. What is the percentage of group capital employed in water tech activities?
I'm trying to find the slide 17 on our ambition on PFAS and new pollutant removal. I guess the reason why I haven't been given detail is precisely because it will depend on the various implementation of various states in the various geographies and various sectors. But the reason why I'm confident on the opposite side about this 1 billion is manifold. One, we're not only talking about the US, it's US, Australia, Europe. And the legislation is very clear, Europe 26 and so on and so forth. Two, we're not only talking about removing PFAS from water, we're talking about removing PFAS from water, but removing PFAS from soil, from polluted site, and therefore the customers will be subject to different type of legislation, and at times they just do it on voluntary basis. And you know, the first contract we've won again with the Ministry of Defense in Australia was because they wanted to decontaminate their site. So again, we have many and a variety of customers from, again, airbase, air force, airport, industrial sites, as well as municipal water. And we do already have order books in the municipal water, don't misunderstand me. But we're not relying only on one legislation in one country. It's really broader than that. And the combination of our activities, again, it's water tech, it's water operation, and it's hazardous waste as well. Again, once you've concentrated, you have to eliminate them in a high temperature incinerator or to treat them in a high temperature incinerator. So I guess that's more varied. So if you think PFAS equals water equals the US, this is only part of the story. It's broader than that.
Thank you so much. That was indeed an excellent question. I'd like to finish very rapidly with two questions. One, perhaps we can have a short answer, Anne, and one that is a little bit more global. This question is specifically for you. With the brine handling that you mentioned, can the phosphorus be reused since it's a limited resource?
Yes, it can. And of course, this is the reason why we are looking at segregating all those nutriments, salts and minerals. This is that there is a business model for it and there is a usage for it. Not all of them so far. Some of the nutriments have a business model that is not completely balanced, but for phosphorus, indeed, it's required in the agriculture and needed.
Thank you so much. Another excellent question and excellent answer. And I propose that we end on this question. A question from Juan Rodriguez from Kepler Chevreux. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. How are you expecting to grow 3 times faster than the market in the plan? Are you planning on taking additional market share?
Yes. You wanted a short answer. And I'm very confident. Why? Because again, we have unique offers on very fast and promising priority markets. Unique scale, geographical footprint, variety of customers, and a wonderful series of innovation and patented technology, and all that in one. This is why, yes, of course, I want to gain market share, and of course, that's what we ambition to do, to grow faster than the markets.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for your questions and your attention this morning. This brings the presentations of this deep dive to a close. For all of you that are in the room, I'm going to ask you for a little bit of your attention once we close the broadcast. And to all of you who joined us remotely, a big thank you, and we hope to see you for our next event.